Hey, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Emily. Basically, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience at an international Christian school. So basically, I didn't always go to a Christian school. I've always been Christian, but I've never gone to a Christian school other than now. So basically, I was in public school in Canada, and then we moved to Austria, and I went to public school here. And basically, my mom works at the Christian school, and it was always an option, but they've put us into Austrian school to start with so that we could learn the language. And so basically, I almost avoided going to the Christian school because it was just I would hang out there after school or whatever, and it was very strange to me to actually go to the school. Basically, what happened was in 10th grade, it would be. I the school that I was at basically was wrecking my mental and physical health. Um, my mental health was going downhill very, very fast. And another thing is I was getting physical pain in the upper part of my body, and it was from stress, believe it or not. But I was in physical pain and I could not move. And so the option was putting me into the Christian school. So I got to the point where I was like pretty much broken. I didn't have very many other options. And so I did a visiting day and I loved it. And so I transferred. When I transferred, basically, I had social anxiety at the time. So I was afraid of literally everybody. And I'll do a video about social anxiety at some point as well. But basically, I came to the school afraid of everybody and very, very insecure, very broken. And the first year, I think, was the biggest difference. But the first year, I came like a quarter of the way through the school year or something like that. And it made a humongous difference. Basically, I went from being afraid of everybody to having some of the closest friends I've ever had, and being at a school where people actually cared about you, because a lot of time in public schools, not just in Austria, but my experience mainly in Austria, was the teachers didn't care about you at all. If you didn't know what you were doing, it was your fault. And you would physically get yelled at sometimes for not being smart enough to catch up. And me, who has 3 learning challenges and various other disabilities, it did not go well, to say the least. But basically, I went to ICSV and it changed everything. I found people who cared. People actually cared about how you were doing. You could ask questions. You could raise your hand, and if you didn't understand something, they would do their best to help you understand. So you wouldn't be left behind as long as you asked for help. If you didn't ask for help, that was kind of your fault. But you could ask for help. That was an option. And the fact that you could go to a place where people actually cared about you and where you were accepted as you are made a humongous difference in my life. The first year, I went from being afraid to actually making friends, and that was the first time I had hung out with friends like in like 6 years or something like that. I would refuse to hang out with my friends because they were like survival friends, and I'll probably do a video about that. But I met people that actually cared about me. I was able to grow. I was able to, if something was wrong, you could have somebody to talk to. You could do this, you could do that. And it was an amazing experience. I've graduated now, so I was at the school for a little over 2 years, but it made a humongous difference in my life, and I would not be who I am today without it at all. And it's an amazing, amazing place to be able to walk in and have people who love you and who actually want what's best for you and aren't just there because of the money. And that's the difference. And I was in an international community, so it wasn't all white people, it wasn't all people of whatever ethnicity. We had people from over 56 different countries. And I got to meet people and connect with them, and half the people weren't even Christian. But the fact that they had this community, despite all the differences, is amazing. Because you had people from different cultures, from different religions, from different backgrounds, and yet you could still work together, be together, and be in a loving community without having things go downhill because somebody disagrees with something that somebody else said. People are open minded, they'll talk about it. And okay, this is your point on this. Okay, this is my point on this. Do we need to come to an understanding, or can we just be okay with having different points of view? And that is so important because I know most people don't get that. They'll have one community, they will stay in that community, and that's it. But I was lucky enough to be able to meet people from different communities and cultures and religions and actually learn about it instead of being shamed for being this or not saying the exact same thing as the other person. But you got to sit and you got to learn and you got to talk about it. And that's the difference. And I feel like if the world was like that, where we can just sit and we can be okay with other people having a different perspective, that would change the world outright. If we can just have a community where people can be themselves, don't have to mask, don't have to do whatever to try to fit in, because they can just be themselves, because people are uniquely beautiful. And if you can do that, then that's everything. And I'm so lucky that I got to go to this school, that I got to learn and I got to grow. And it wouldn't have been possible without supporters because we are a missionary family, and I would not have been able to go without that. And I'm so fortunate, and I'm so lucky. And thank you for the supporters. Thank you for everything. And if you guys have any more questions about international schools or different cultures, let me know. It's always open. Thanks for watching.